So we have one last like big story for the night that I wanted to talk about. There's one last big story for tonight that I want to talk about, and that is the Lizzo situation. If you don't know what's going on with Lizzo right now, she is at the tail end of a lawsuit against her, and she is being accused of multiple things, but the big one is sexual harassment by her dancers. So we're gonna take a look at this. We have a couple videos where the dancers, it looks like the dancers themselves are talking about it, and we also have a response from yesterday from Lizzo to the lawsuit. So let's see what's going on here. You didn't know that? Yeah, it's this is from just a few days ago. This is just starting to happen now, and it's pretty crazy to see. It's pretty wild to see. It's surprising because this is somebody who is like a figurehead of like love and acceptance and confidence, and she's being accused of sexual harassment. She's being accused of body shaming, being verbally and sometimes physically abusive as well. I haven't heard the dancers' stories yet, but I'm thinking we're gonna get into that in a second here. Yeah, it's pretty rough to see.
Lizzo's hit songs are often accompanied by messages of body positivity.
Watch out for the big girls.
While promoting her Emmy-winning reality show Watch Out for the Big Girls, Lizzo told Today she was looking for dancers who matched that message.
I finally had the platform to do an open call audition for girls who look like me.
But in a new lawsuit filed by 3 former dancers, Lizzo was accused of weight shaming. One of the dancers, Ariana Davis, says Lizzo called attention to her weight gain with thinly veiled concerns, though she never explicitly stated it.
I just had this feeling that they had a problem with the way I was gaining weight.
Davis filed the suit with Crystal Williams and Noel Rodriguez. They allege that at an after party at a strip club in Amsterdam, where sexually explicit acts were taking place on stage, Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the performers.
I briefly touched the performer. I was very mortified. Everyone burst into laughter.
It's something Davis says she didn't want to do, but felt pressured to do.
I did not ask for it. I said no multiple times.
According to the suit, the dancers also allege Lizzo falsely accused them of drinking alcohol before shows, and because of that, they were forced to audition for their jobs again.
She would pick and choose when she wanted to be professional and when she wanted things to be personal.
Both Williams and Davis say they were fired this past spring, while Rodriguez resigned. In an interview, Davis also describing an interaction with Lizzo.
She proceeded to say, dancers get fired for gaining weight. You should basically be grateful to be here.
The trio is also suing Lizzo's production company and her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, accusing her of forcing her religious beliefs on them.
What?
Lizzo has not commented on the suit. The champion of positivity on stage, now accused of enabling a toxic work environment behind the curtain.
Jesus.
Go from preaching about sisterhood to then turning around and saying that it's a privilege that you know us by name.
Efforts by NBC News to reach Lizzo's production company were unsuccessful, and her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, has not responded to our request for comment. We also want to point out not every claim in the lawsuit was brought against every defendant.
I mean, Lizzo's got such an online presence, Joe. What's been the reaction there? What are folks saying on the...
So after Lizzo posted to Instagram yesterday without referencing the controversy at all, many fans did react with dismay in the comments. Some other former employees, including her ex-creative director, have weighed in supporting the former dancers and suggesting they witnessed and experienced similar treatment. Some online are also pointing out, by the way, that Beyonce at her concert last night left Lizzo's name out of a lyric that usually lists her along with other artists. Lots of speculation right now as fans react to the news of this lawsuit.
Lizzo probably speak out soon.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
It's pretty bad. There's a couple more clips we're gonna watch, but it's pretty bad. Another thing of note is that I've been seeing on Twitter, multiple people who have worked with Lizzo in the past have come out to say that she is hard to work with, and she doesn't treat people who work for her and with her with respect or kindness. Sorry. Let's see.
Over the years.
Yeah, I have heard tale of details that were not in that last interview that are pretty atrocious. So we'll see if they get into that. I don't want to, and this is like Twitter that I've seen a lot of this from, so I'm not trying to throw these things out there without the actual details in mind. So we'll see if ET has it. We also have one from CNN, so they might have it as well. So let's see.
We have seen kind of the treatment of dancers, some might even say the mistreatment of dancers depicted in media. But I'm curious, working with Lizzo, was there a specific moment or incident where you felt like this was crossing the line and it's actually more of a toxic working environment?
Many instances. I can't pinpoint one. I can probably count at least 10, just right off the bat. I mean, just inviting us to sexually explicit things, a lot of times without our knowledge of knowing that there was going to be nudity there, telling us that we need to be a family and, invite us to be sister-like, have a sisterhood, but then turn around and never give us the benefit of the doubt and believe the microaggressions being put forth towards her by management about us. Just having these really intense meetings about how we're not dancing good enough, and we're all kinds of allegations that we work really hard so we know are not true.
Those meetings that you're talking about, did it feel like to you like this is not like the MO of the industry? This is not an industry standard. It felt different?
Well, I personally and Crystal are very new to the industry. Noelle has been in the industry for a while, but this is me and Crystal's first job. So for a long time, in my time in the camp, I just chalked this up to, this is probably just industry standard, or like, even if it's not, it can't be that bad. The industry is crazy. I made a lot of excuses for Lizzo and the management team until enough was enough when I finally was out of it.
Right. Crystal, what was that breaking point for you?
The breaking point for me was for there to be blatant lies that were being spread about us and what we were doing or how we were conducting ourselves. And then after, communicating our sides of the story, or at least attempting to, it felt like we were, retaliated against. It felt like it was disregarded. It felt like it was ignored. It felt like it was overlooked. Just to make matters worse, for it to be with this particular artist who stands, for the things that she stands for and the messages that she preaches, you would never in a million years think that that would be something that you have to deal with and that you have to go through.
And Noelle, you resigned.
I did.
You resigned. So what led?
It's hard to see this kind of stuff coming from like a person who is such like an icon for and like a beacon of just like a beacon for people. People look up to Lizzo. A lot of people look up to Lizzo, and so it's hard to see these kind of things going on behind the scenes because she's really important to a lot of people.
Led to that decision?
Me personally, I've been dancing professionally for about 7 years now, so I have past experience. I've worked with a lot of these people that Lizzo looks up to herself, like Beyonce, Janet Jackson, and so on. So I know what is right and what is wrong in a work setting and the norms for this industry. And, at first, small things would happen, and I was like, oh, maybe it's a miscommunication between her and her management. I'm trying to always give the benefit of the doubt at the beginning.
Maybe it's a personality thing.
Yeah, maybe she just has to warm up to us. And I had even questioned former dancers that are no longer a part of the camp, like, is it usually like this? She's like, no, just give it some time. But over time, it was a slow, downward spiral of, finally getting to the point of, for me, the biggest point that was the turning point in all of this was when we asked for our retainer, which is like a holding fee. That is a standard norm, and the rest of the talent on the tour was already receiving. We were like, hey, it's a norm that dancers can ask and should receive, especially if everyone else is receiving. So that was the turning point, and I think the moment in which, you know, tensions started rising between management, Lizzo, and the dancers.
But there's also Lizzo in this.
I mean, the sexual harassment allegations are really horrific. But beyond just that, this is like a workers' rights issue. Like these are classic managerial tactics to keep workers in place.
Too is probably feeling the same way. We saw in our statement today that it's inflicting some pain on her as well. Was there ever an opportunity for you guys to rectify this in a different way that didn't involve lawyers?
I can, for one, speak for myself that even before all of this transpired, while we were actively working with her, the collective dance cast made multiple attempts to speak with not only her management team, but also her, just to make her privy of all the things that we were going through and experiencing. It never happened.
Noelle, you alleged that Lizzo aggressively confronted you for resigning. Can you kind of detail that experience?
Yeah, so basically it was our last meeting. We were under the impression that it was a fitting. We show up shortly after. We're then met by security and her management team, and they're like, this is actually not a fitting, this is a meeting with Lizzo, an ambush meeting. And then we're told to hand over our phones. They're like, you need to confiscate your phones. Security takes them, and then she therefore comes in to later on fire Ari, and then, you know, just
in front of y'all.
In front of everyone. Her management was there, security, herself, and the rest of the dance members were also there. So within that, you know, I had planned on resigning a bit earlier. I had been in talks with my agent about, you know, I'm going to do this professionally, give my 2 weeks, because up until then it was an accumulation of things. Just seeing how she had first handled the situation with Ari and how she let her go previously with the way that they let Crystal go, I was like, I can't stand for this anymore, and I had to say something. Yeah. So in coming forward and saying that, she then got physical. She basically raised up her fists. She was like balling her knuckles, and she's like, you're so effing lucky, alluding to, you're lucky I'm not gonna hit you. Enough to where
Jesus
one
Christ.
of the dancers, you know, finally got up and had to pull her back, because at that moment we were like, oh, she's actually going to hit me, and physically had to pull her back, while then she's yelling all these different names and things, and you know, it was scary, and it was shocking.
Ariana, what do you hope to accomplish?
Holy shit, that's horrible. Great boss. Yeah, classic boss. This is fucking Christ.
Through this lawsuit,
I just really at this point, I don't need like an apology or even understanding. I just need change. And I need dancers and other people in the industry and just people in general that are being taken advantage.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just disappointing, it's appalling. These are workers. They deserve rights. They don't need their boss screaming at them, calling them names, and threatening to hit them. 2023, more like 1984. Thank you for the tier 1 sub to Buffy Geek, allowing another viewer to watch ad-free. God, I really appreciate you, buddy.
2023 more like 1984 gifted a tier 1 sub to Buffy Geek. They have given 11 gift subs in the channel.
I appreciate that so much, buddy. Thank you so much. And welcome to the ad-free club, Buffy Geek. What an anti-ad action. We hate ads here. Burned. Don't we have a ads burning emote too? I can't remember. Oh yeah. We hate the ads. Burn the ads. Down with ads. But yeah, this is disappointing on a lot of levels. Nobody deserves to go to work to get yelled at, to be body shamed, to be sexually harassed, to be abused verbally with threats of physical abuse. It's disgusting.
advantage of, that you have a voice.
Whoops.
I think you just have to know
What's
your rights.
whoops?
I've learned so many things about my rights as a dancer and what is deserved and what is the norm of being on set and how I should be treated by these artists and teams. So I think anybody that pursues this industry just needs a lot of tough skin, and they need to understand that, as much as it may seem really glamorous from the outside, sometimes it's not as glamorous as it seems, so just to be realistic with yourself and kind of have those check-in moments to say, am I mentally okay to take this on? Because it is a lot to take on.
Now I know this is just my hopefulness speaking, okay? But what if this whole Lizzo situation sparked the unionization of dancers in the music industry? That's what they should do. They should not be treated like this by people. And maybe that will happen. Who knows? Who knows? These dancers are incredibly brave for coming out and saying all this stuff, because this isn't just like,
Moments ago, Lizzo.
Oh shit, I clicked the wrong button. This is a touchy subject because this isn't just your normal pop star. This is somebody who's like,
moments ago, Lizzo
is a figurehead in a lot of different like ways, like in a lot of like not movements, but it's somebody that a lot of people look up to, Unionize, exactly. Let's fucking go. Dancers Union, let's fucking go.
Broke her silence on the lawsuit filed against her by three
of her
former dancers who claim they were subjected to a hostile work environment and harassment. The complaint also naming her production company and the captain of her dance team. And it says that the dancers were, quote, exposed to an overtly sexual atmosphere that permeated their workplace, which included outings where nudity and sexuality were a focal point. The suit also alleges, among other things, that Lizzo called out one of the plaintiffs for her weight gain after accusing the dancer of not being committed to her role. Lizzo is known, of course, for her uplifting messages and advocacy for body positivity.
I'm not going to be able to please everybody with my outward appearance. Someone's always going to have a critique. Someone's always going to have some negativity to say about me. So all that matters is what I think about it.
Now, after what had been a notably lengthy silence this morning, Lizzo responded to the lawsuit on Instagram, writing, in part, "These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards." Joining us now are the three dancers, Crystal Williams, Ariana Davis, and Noel Rodriguez.
Jesus. She's like, yeah, I do abuse my dancers, but it's because I want the best art.
Along with their attorney, Ron Zambrano. Crystal, I want to start with you. The response that you have to the response from Lizzo after the silence for a pretty extended period of time.
I want to say that reading it just kind of furthered my like disappointment in regards to the situation, just because the facts are the facts. What we experienced and what we witnessed is absolutely what happened. There's nothing sensationalized about it. So all that I can hope is that people focus more so on the facts rather than the court of public opinion.
Ariana, at what point did you realize that what you were experiencing, what you led you experienced, was not normal?
Okay, I love you. What?
It's hard to answer that question because as this was my first professional job, I was told by the dance captain and, it's this thing in the dance industry that you have to, shut up and, take whatever you get and just be grateful for whatever crumbs you get as a dancer. So a lot of things that were going on, it took me a really long time to figure out that it was wrong. It took me actually until leaving the camp that I figured out that everything that went on was bad, because I just chalked it up to, oh, Lizzo might be a diva, or, this is just the industry. This is what we go through. I mean, I I think that I had inklings, like I would be on the phone with my mom all day and be like just complaining about the disrespect and the treatment and the humiliation.
Unionized, so true.
Me personally, looking at the response from Lizzo was so disheartening because she was there. She was there. And to fix your hand to write on a piece of paper that you that you discredit everything we're saying is incredibly frustrating.
She was careful. She had her security guards take their phones away so that they can't record anything while she abuses them. And then at the end of the day, it's her word against theirs. And then she has her PR team write her out a fluffy little message about how these are sensationalized and untrue.
The facts are the facts, like Crystal said. Was I pressured to touch a nude performer? Yes. Was I brought into a private meeting where I was kind of interrogated about my personal matters and ended up having to share very personal things about myself regarding my weight? Yes. I mean, the list goes on. Were we pressured to do an excruciatingly long rehearsal that turned into a re-audition for the job that we already booked? Because apparently we weren't doing good enough. Yes, that is true. During that excruciatingly long re-audition process, was I under the impression that if I left the stage, I would be fired? Yes. Did I unfortunately go to the bathroom on myself on stage because I was so terrified? Yes. There is in a court of law.
Holy shit.
I'm not a lawyer.
What the fuck, dude? That's horrifying.
I don't know anything, but I know that if you ask someone to tell the truth, these things will come out of her mouth. If you have to say yes or no to these questions, she has to say yes because they are true. There was multiple witnesses, and I don't appreciate the discredit of our feelings and our experiences and our traumas.
Understood. Joelle, you allege that Lizzo intended to hit you at one point after you... Sorry, Noelle, intended to hit you at one point after you resigned. Do you really think that she was going to resort or could resort to physical violence?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, the facts of that were that she actually balled up her fist like this to me. She started cracking her knuckles, and she was like, "You're so effing lucky that basically I'm not gonna hit you." And, you know, I was in shock watching her do that and cracking her knuckles and acting as if she was gonna come at me. And for a second I was like, you know, I don't think she's gonna do that. Like, that's not what's gonna happen. But the fact that one of her dancers, all of us were present, all the dancers were present for mostly all of these allegations. And in that meeting that we had where she got physical and was about to assault me, her best friend, who's also one of the dancers, had to jump out of the couch and physically hold her back from coming and hitting me. So yes, I do believe that if she wasn't held back
my Christ.
by that dancer, she would have hit me.
What you described there's clearly, not only do you believe you have witnesses, but potentially you have other people that would want to be party to a lawsuit like this or experience similar things. And I guess to some degree, I would direct that your way, Ron, in terms of, do you believe more people will join? Do you believe that there are other individuals who worked with these three women who experienced the same things that would like to join this lawsuit or sue on their own account in the future?
100%. People have already come on social media to support our clients. People have already reached out to my office through social media. 100% I believe more people will come forward, if not here where we are in Los Angeles, but in New York, and we've received other calls and inquiries from around the nation.
Oh my God.
Mr. Williams, area.
This is a nightmare. They're going to get a whole crew of dancers, current and former dancers, to sue her for their mistreatment. Okay, here's a shorter video about her response here.
This morning, music superstar
Sorry, hold on.
Lizzo, who rose to fame with her message of body positivity and self-love, is responding to a lawsuit filed by 3 former dancers who accuse her of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. They claim they were subject to weight shaming, one saying she felt forced to explain her weight gains to keep her job. Lizzo yesterday issued a statement addressing the claims, saying these sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. The 3 accusers sat down with Good Morning America to respond to Lizzo's statement.
It completely kind of invalidates all of our experience and our trauma and our pain.
Lizzo's attorney also released a video saying it shows one of the plaintiffs, Ariana Davis, praising Lizzo in April after the singer's alleged misconduct.
I look up to her so much, and I just want to follow in her footsteps, and I just want to share that with the Queen Lizzo herself.
In response, Ariana Davis said,
I mean, that's so stupid. They already talked about how they thought, like, the newer dancers already talked about how they thought that this was kind of how it is in the industry and how people get treated in the industry. And of course they look up to Lizzo. That of course she's a celebrity that people look up to and adore. Yeah, a social media post from April is going to absolve Lizzo of any wrongdoing.
Video was done before the bulk of our allegations occurred, and this was just me grasping at straws and my last attempt to make her see how committed I was. The allegations already taking a toll on the singer's image on social media. Billboard says Lizzo has lost more than 150,000 Instagram followers since news of the lawsuit broke.
Whoops.
And coming up later on Good Morning America, one of the accusers speaks about allegedly being replaced by a dancer with a smaller body type.
Hi, everyone. George
Stephanopoulos. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Shooey. Okay, that's it for that. Hold on just a second. That's it for the Lizzo saga. We'll keep looking at that and see what's going on.